An SOS echoed. Humanity arrived, and the cosmos fell silent. The crimson suns of Proxima Centauri cast eerie shadows across the dying research station, Beacon 7. Dr. Lyra Voss pressed her scaled palm against the cracked viewport, watching debris from destroyed ships drift past like metallic snow. Her people, the Etherians, had built this station as a beacon of hope, a place where species could share knowledge and grow together. Now it was becoming their tomb. "Doctor," came the trembling voice of her assistant, Keth Mora. His bioluminescent patches flickered weakly with fear. "The Devourers have breached Sector 12. Emergency bulkheads are failing." Lyra's heart sank. The Devourers, a mechanical plague that consumed entire star systems, converting organic matter into raw materials for their endless expansion. They had appeared without warning, their massive harvester ships blotting out the stars. Every attempt at communication had been met with silence, every military response crushed within hours. "How long until they reach us?" Lyra asked, though she already knew the answer. 2 hours, maybe less. Keth's voice broke. "The quantum barriers won't hold much longer." Through the station's corridors, panic spread like wildfire. Scientists, researchers, and their families from 17 different species scrambled for escape pods that everyone knew were too few. Children cried in languages spanning the galaxy, while their parents held them close, whispering words of comfort that felt hollow in the face of extinction. Lyra made her way to the communications center, her mind racing. As the station's chief xenobiologist, she had dedicated her life to bringing species together. She wouldn't let it end like this. "Mora," she called to her assistant. "Can you boost the emergency transmitter to maximum range?" "Doctor, even at full power, the nearest military outpost is weeks away. By then, just do it." Lyra's voice carried a desperation she'd never felt before. "Someone has to know what happened here. Someone has to remember." As Keth worked frantically at the controls, Lyra activated the universal distress beacon. Her words would go out on all frequencies, in all languages, carrying the final testament of Beacon 7. "This is Dr. Lyra Voss of Beacon Research Station 7, she spoke into the transmitter, her voice steady despite the terror clawing at her chest. "We are under attack by mechanical entities designated as Devourers. Our defensive systems have failed. We have civilians, families, children, researchers from across the galaxy. If anyone can hear this message, please, remember us. Remember what we tried to build here." The transmission shot out into the void, racing through space at light speed, carrying the desperate plea of the dying. 3 sectors away, Captain Elena Vasquez was reviewing supply manifests aboard the cargo vessel Steadyhand when the distress signal crackled through the ship's communication system. The bridge fell silent as the alien woman's voice filled the air, her words translated by the ship's universal language processor. "Captain," called Lieutenant Marcus Chen from the communication station, "that signal's coming from the Proxima system. According to our charts, that's way outside normal shipping lanes." Elena stood slowly, her weathered face hard with concentration. She'd been hauling freight between the outer colonies for 15 years. Ever since the corporate wars had left her with nothing but her ship and her crew, she'd seen enough suffering to last several lifetimes. "How far?" she asked quietly. 18 hours at maximum burn, ma'am. But Captain, we're just a cargo hauler. We've got mining equipment for the Tau Ceti colonies. Nothing that could help against Marcus. Elena's voice cut through his protests. "Dump the cargo." "Ma'am?" "You heard me. Dump it all. Plot a course for the Proxima system." Her first officer, Commander Jake Sullivan, stepped forward. "Elena, this isn't our fight. We don't even know what these Devourers are capable of." Elena walked to the viewport, staring out at the stars. "Jake, when I was 7 years old, my colony was attacked by raiders. We sent out distress calls for 3 days before they finally broke through our defenses. You know how many ships answered our call?" Sullivan was quiet. 0. Not one ship came to help. My parents, my little brother, they all died while the galaxy looked the other way." She turned back to her crew. I swore that day that I'd never be the one who didn't answer when someone called for help. "All hands, this is the captain," Elena announced over the ship's intercom. "We've received a distress call from civilians under attack. We're changing course to provide assistance. I won't lie to you, we might not come back from this. Anyone who wants off can take a shuttle to the nearest station." The response was immediate. Her chief engineer, Maria Santos, was the first to speak up. "Captain, my grandmother always said that a person's worth isn't measured by what they can gain, but by what they're willing to lose for others. Count me in." One by one, every member of her 15-person crew volunteered to stay. Elena felt a surge of pride in these people who had become her family among the stars. As the steady hand turned toward the Proxima system, Elena activated the emergency broadcast system. If they were going to do this, they wouldn't do it alone. "Attention all vessels," she broadcast on all human frequencies. "This is Captain Ilona Vasquez of the cargo vessel Steady Hand. We have received a distress call from civilians under attack in the Proxima system. Unknown hostile forces have overwhelmed their defenses. We are responding to provide assistance. Any human vessel capable of providing aid, please respond immediately." The response began within minutes. "Steady Hand, this is Captain Tom Bradley of the mining ship Deep Strike. We were hauling asteroid ore to Mars Station when we picked up your broadcast, dropping our cargo and joining you." "Steady Hand, this is Captain Sarah Mitchell of the passenger liner New Dawn. We've got medical facilities and 500 volunteers aboard, setting course for Proxima." "Captain Vasquez, this is the research vessel Quantum Pioneer. Dr. Robert Hayes here. Our ship may not look like much, but we've got some experimental weapons that might help." Ship after ship responded to the call. Cargo haulers, passenger liners, mining vessels, research ships, even small private craft piloted by families who couldn't stand the thought of innocent people dying while they did nothing. By the time they reached the edge of the Proxima system, Elena counted 147 human vessels of every size and type. The largest was the colony ship New Horizon, commanded by Captain David Rivers, a legendary figure who had helped establish 12 human colonies. "All vessels, this is Rivers aboard the New Horizon," came the gruff voice over the communication channel. "I'm setting up a coordination center. Medical ships form up on Dr. Margaret Foster aboard the hospital ship Mercy. Combat vessels, and I use that term loosely, report to me. Support ships coordinate with Captain Vasquez." As the human fleet organized itself, they got their first look at what they were facing. The Proxima system was a vision of horror. Massive mechanical ships, each the size of a city, orbited the planets like hungry predators. Smaller harvester vessels moved through the debris fields, consuming everything in their path. "My God," whispered Commander Sullivan. "How are we supposed to fight that?" Elena stared at the tactical display. The numbers were sobering. 147 civilian ships against what appeared to be hundreds of mechanical harvester vessels and at least 20 massive motherships. Dr. Hayes aboard the Quantum Pioneer broke the silence. "Captain Rivers, I'm detecting massive energy signatures from those motherships. They're converting harvested matter into more vessels. Every hour we delay, they get stronger. Then we don't delay," Rivers replied grimly. "All ships, listen up. We're not military and we're not heroes. We're just people who heard someone calling for help. That's going to have to be enough." The human fleet approached the besieged research station, and what they saw made even the veteran spacers fall silent. Beacon 7 hung in space like a broken jewel, its crystal corridors cracked and burning. Around it, the mechanical devourers moved in perfect formation, their harvester beams systematically dismantling the station section by section. Captain Rivers established communication with the station. "Beacon 7, this is Captain David Rivers of the Human Rescue Fleet. We're here to get you out." Dr. Lyra Voss's voice came through the static, filled with amazement and disbelief. "Human fleet? How many ships?" 147, ma'am, and we're not leaving without you." There was a long pause. "Captain Rivers, you don't understand. These machines, they don't communicate. They don't negotiate. They simply consume everything. You must flee before they detect you." "Doctor," Elena broke in, "this is Captain Vasquez. We didn't come all this way to turn around at the first sign of trouble. How many civilians do you have aboard? Approximately 3,000 souls from 17 different species, including 800 children. Elena felt her resolve harden. Then we've got work to do. The Devourers had noticed the human arrival. The massive mechanical ships began turning toward them, their weapons charging with an ominous whine. On the lead mothership, sensors recorded the approaching vessels, analyzing their primitive construction and limited armaments. The collective, the distributed intelligence that controlled the Devourers, calculated the threat level at 0.003%. These organic vessels would be consumed like all the others. What the collective didn't understand was that it wasn't facing a military force. It was facing something far more dangerous. Humans who had heard a call for help. Captain Rivers coordinated the attack from the bridge of the New Horizon. All ships, remember? We're not trying to destroy them all. We just need to create enough chaos to evacuate the station. Medical ships, prepare for massive casualties. Everyone else, let's show these machines what happens when they threaten innocent people. What followed defied every principle of military tactics. The human fleet didn't advance in formation or follow coordinated strategies. Instead, they attacked like a swarm of angry bees, each ship using whatever advantages they had. The cargo vessels, led by Elena's steady hand, loaded their holds with emergency supplies and used their heavy construction equipment as improvised weapons. Mining ships fired cutting lasers designed to slice through asteroids. Research vessels hacked into the Devourers' communication networks, sending false commands that turned the machines against each other. Captain Bradley's Deep Strike led a group of mining ships in ramming attacks against the harvester vessels. "This is for every family you murdered, you metal bastards!" he shouted as his ship plowed into a harvester's core, the explosion taking out 3 more machines. Dr. Foster coordinated the evacuation from the Mercy, her medical teams working frantically to treat wounded aliens of species they'd never encountered before. Team 7, we have crystalline beings in Bay 12. Their biology is completely different from anything we've seen. Team 3, prepare for gas-breathing entities in Bay 5. The research vessels proved surprisingly effective. Dr. Hayes aboard the Quantum Pioneer had been experimenting with quantum disruptor technology. His first shot completely destabilized a mothership's power core, causing a chain reaction that destroyed 2 more vessels. "My God, it worked!" Hayes shouted over the communication channel. "The quantum disruptors are interfering with their collective consciousness. They're losing coordination." But the humans were paying a terrible price. Ship after ship was destroyed as they threw themselves against the mechanical horde. The passenger liner Golden Dream exploded while evacuating civilians. The mining ship Iron Will was consumed while trying to ram a mothership. The research vessel Starseeker was torn apart by harvester beams. Elena watched the tactical display with growing horror. They were losing ships faster than they could evacuate civilians. At this rate, they'd all be dead within the hour. "All ships, this is Vasquez," she broadcast. "We need a new strategy. The current approach isn't working." "Actually, it is working," came an unexpected voice. Dr. Lara Voss had patched into the human communication network. "Captain Vasquez, your people are doing something impossible. The Devourers have consumed 17 star systems. They've never shown confusion before, never lost coordination. Your chaotic attack patterns are overloading their collective intelligence." Captain Rivers saw the opportunity. "All ships, you heard the lady. Keep doing what you're doing. Maximum chaos, no patterns. Show these machines that humans don't fight fair when innocent people are dying." The human fleet threw everything they had at the Devourers. Cargo containers filled with industrial chemicals became improvised bombs. Passenger shuttles became suicide missiles. Mining drones were reprogrammed as kamikaze units. Engineer Lisa Park aboard the colony ship New Horizon had been working on something desperate. "Captain Rivers, I think I can overload our fusion reactors to create an EMP burst. It might disable their motherships, but..." "But what, Park?" "But it'll fry every electronic system within a light-minute radius, including ours." Rivers looked around his bridge at the faces of his crew. Young faces, scared faces, but determined faces too. "Do it!" As Park worked frantically to overload the fusion reactors, The human fleet continued their desperate battle. More ships fell. The cargo hauler Horizon's End, the research vessel Deep Thought, the mining ship Asteroid Dancer. Each loss hit the survivors like a physical blow. But slowly, impossibly, they were winning. The Devourer's perfect coordination was breaking down. Harvester ships fired on each other, motherships collided as their navigation systems failed, and the collective intelligence that had conquered 17 star systems was drowning in chaos. EMP charge at 90%, Park reported. All ships, you need to shut down your electronic systems in 60 seconds. All ships, this is Rivers, the captain broadcast. Shut down everything. Life support, engines, weapons. Go to emergency power only. And it's been an honor serving with you all. The human fleet went dark, 147 ships floating silent in space, as the colony ship New Horizon became a miniature star. The fusion reactors overloaded in perfect sequence, creating an electromagnetic pulse that swept through the system like the hand of an angry god. When the energy wave hit the Devourers, their mechanical perfection became their weakness. Every circuit fried, every system crashed, every connection in their collective consciousness went silent. Motherships the size of cities went dark and began drifting helplessly through space. But the victory came at a price. The EMP had destroyed the electronic systems of every human ship as well. 147 vessels were now running on emergency power with no way to navigate home. Captain Elena Vasquez stood on her bridge, lit only by emergency lighting, and smiled. Through the viewport, she could see Beacon 7, damaged but intact. The Etherian research station was still broadcasting, its signals showing thousands of life signs. Saved. All ships, this is Vasquez, she broadcast on short-range radio. Mission accomplished. We got them all. Dr. Lyra Voss's voice came through the static, thick with emotion. Human fleet, how can we ever repay what you have done? You sacrificed everything. Your ships, your way home, perhaps your lives, to save strangers. Elena looked around at her crew, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of emergency lights. Doctor, we're humans. When someone calls for help, we answer. That's just who we are. 3 months had passed since the battle. The human fleet remained stranded in the Proxima system, their ships dark and quiet, running on emergency power. But they weren't alone. Word of the rescue had spread across the galaxy through quantum communication networks. The story grew with each telling, how 147 civilian ships had answered a stranger's distress call, how they had defeated an enemy that had consumed 17 star systems, how they had sacrificed their own escape to save people they had never met. Captain Elena Vasquez stood in the observation lounge of Beacon 7, looking out at the space around the station. What she saw filled her with wonder. Ships from across the galaxy were arriving daily, not to conquer or consume, but to help. The Altarian Collective had sent their finest medical ships to treat wounded humans and aliens alike. The warrior clans of Zephyr had dispatched their most advanced engineering vessels to help repair the damaged human ships. Even the mysterious builders of Andromeda had emerged from their long isolation to offer aid. Dr. Lyra Voss joined Elena at the observation window. The Etherian scientist had been working tirelessly to coordinate the relief efforts, her natural diplomacy helping to bring together species that had never cooperated before. Captain, Lyra said softly, I've been thinking about something you said during the battle. You called yourselves just humans, as if that were somehow ordinary. Elena smiled. Isn't it? No, Captain. It's extraordinary. In all my years studying different species, I've never encountered anything like what you did here. When you heard our call for help, you didn't calculate odds or consider profit. You simply came. Through the window, they watched as an Altarian medical ship docked with the human hospital ship, Mercy. Alien doctors were working alongside human medics, sharing knowledge and techniques. In the station's gardens, human children played with young Etherians and Zephyrians, their laughter echoing through the crystal corridors. The galaxy is changing because of what you did, Lyra continued. Species that have been isolated for millennia are reaching out to each other. Trade agreements, cultural exchanges, mutual defense pacts, all because they witness what humans are capable of when they hear someone in need. A priority communication alert chimed on Elena's personal device. The message was from Earth Command, transmitted by the first human fleet to reach the Proxima system since the battle. Captain Vasquez, this is Admiral Patricia Chen of the Earth Defense Force. Our deep space fleet has finally reached your position. We're here to bring our people home. Elena read the message twice, then looked out at the thriving multi-species community that had grown around Beacon 7. Human and alien engineers worked together on projects that would have been impossible alone. Scientists from dozens of worlds shared discoveries that advanced knowledge at an incredible rate. Children learned languages and customs from across the galaxy. She activated her communicator. Admiral Chen, this is Captain Vasquez. Thank you for coming, but we're not ready to leave just yet. Captain, I don't understand. Don't you want to return to Earth? Elena looked around at the bustling station, at the ships from 100 different worlds working together in harmony. Admiral, we've got something important here, something the galaxy needs. Besides, someone has to keep the door open for the next person who calls for help. That evening, Elena met with Captain Rivers and the other human fleet commanders in Beacon 7's main conference room. The space was packed with humans and aliens working together to plan the future of their unique community. Are you sure about this? Rivers asked. Earth is offering to bring us all home, full pardons for any cargo we abandoned, compensation for our ships. Elena shook her head. David, look around. 3 months ago, most of these species had never even communicated with each other. Now they're building something together, something that's never existed before. A place where any species can call for help and know that others will answer. Dr. Foster, now serving as the chief medical officer for the entire station, nodded in agreement. Elena's right. We've established the most advanced medical facility in this sector of the galaxy. We're treating conditions that human medicine has never encountered, learning techniques that could benefit billions. Young Lieutenant Chen, who had stayed behind when his ship was destroyed, stood up. My grandmother always told me that home isn't where you come from, it's where you're needed most. I think we're needed here. One by one, the human commanders made their choice. Some would return to Earth with Admiral Chen's fleet, carrying news of what they had built and inviting others to join them. But most would stay, continuing to build this unprecedented alliance between species. Elena walked out onto the station's main observation deck, where humans and aliens mingled freely under the strange light of Proxima's twin suns. Children of a dozen different species played together, while their parents discussed everything from art to quantum physics. Captain Rivers joined her, his weathered face peaceful for the first time in years. You know, Elena, when we first received that distress call, I thought we were just answering one cry for help. Elena nodded, watching a human child teach a young Etherian how to throw a ball while their parents laughed together. We were. But sometimes, David, answering one call for help changes everything. A soft chime indicated an incoming message on the station's communication system. Dr. Lyra Voss appeared on the main display, her bioluminescent patches glowing with excitement. Attention all residents of Beacon 7, she announced. We've just received word from the Galactic Council. They're officially recognizing our station as the first interspecies humanitarian zone. We'll be granted protections under galactic law, and we're authorized to provide aid to any species that requests it. The observation deck erupted in cheers from dozens of different species. Elena felt tears running down her cheeks as she realized what they had accomplished. What had started as a desperate rescue mission had become something far greater, a beacon of hope for the entire galaxy. Later that night, as Elena stood alone on the observation deck, she thought about that first distress call that had changed everything. Dr. Lyra Voss's voice, desperate and afraid, calling out into the void, hoping someone would hear. A new message alert chimed on her personal communicator. It was from Admiral Chen's flagship, now docked at the station. Captain, we've been monitoring subspace communications, Admiral Chen reported. Word of what you've built here is spreading. We're detecting increased cooperation between species throughout this sector. Trade routes that have been closed for centuries are reopening. Military conflicts are being resolved through diplomacy instead of warfare. Elena smiled as she looked out at the stars, no longer cold and distant, but warm with the lights of ships carrying hope between worlds. Admiral, sometimes the most important battles aren't the ones you win with weapons. They're the ones you win by showing people what's possible when they work together. The Devourers attacked 17 star systems before you stopped them, Admiral Chen continued. Intelligence reports suggest they were just the advanced scouts for something much larger. The galaxy is going to need what you built here. As if summoned by her words, another priority alert flashed on the communication system. This one was from the edge of the galaxy, transmitted by an automated probe. Unknown entities detected. Massive fleet approaching from extragalactic space. Estimated arrival, 6 months. This is an automated warning. Please respond. Elena read the message twice, her heart racing. Another threat, another crisis that would require species to work together or face extinction. She thought about the 147 human ships that had answered one desperate call for help and changed the galaxy forever. All senior staff to the command center, she broadcast throughout the station. We've got work to do. As humans and aliens hurried through the corridors of Beacon 7, Elena felt a familiar stirring in her chest. It was the same feeling she'd had when she first heard Dr. Liravos's distress call, the knowledge that someone, somewhere needed help. And this time they wouldn't be answering alone. The galaxy had learned what humans had always known. When someone calls for help, you answer. Not because it's easy, not because it's profitable, but because it's right. The cosmos had fallen silent when humanity arrived to answer that first SOS. Now it hummed with the voices of 100 species working together, building something greater than any of them could achieve alone. And in the depths of space, carried by quantum transmitters and relay stations across 1,000 star systems, a simple message repeated endlessly. This is Beacon 7. If you need help, we will answer. That's just who we are.